Today, we're going to be going over engagement templates, what they are, how to use them, and how to update them. What is an engagement template? Think of this as a blueprint for your projects. It's making sure that every engagement has the same questions asked every time so that the back end has the same information about every project every time. So there's different pieces of information we can gather in a blueprint, right? The first one being a text field. The text field is very simply just a field with text in it. It allows you can choose between a single line or a big box, and this is great for project description, addresses, etc. It allows you to take in text. Next thing is a chip field. Think of this as a multiple choice or a single select where you have a limited number of options. The next thing we have are slider fields. This is numbers and scales. This is where you would get square foot of a room or number of users or anything else that is numerically based. Finally, we have image selectors. This is where you can choose from a variety of images. Things like if you needed a shape of a room, you could put up different shapes of a room and choose one of those. Finally, template fields. So if you want to create multiple engagement templates and then include them within other engagement templates, you can do that as well. And then the AI power. So Gemini, we can throw in any command we want to Gemini, and it's going to help make our template for us. So this is a really powerful bit that we'll show at the end of this presentation. Now let's hop into actually what is a template. So when we come in to create an engagement, what we're going to see here is these are actually the templates we have set up in the system. You can see right now there's a basic kitchen, a ballpark, and a start from scratch. So if we want to add an additional option to this, here's how we go about doing it. I come in here to my settings. You can see I have engagement templates here. Ballpark's already selected. I'm going to close out of that. You can see the two templates that I already have created. I'm going to go ahead and create a new template. I'm going to call this very basic template. So if I hit create, you can see there's 0 fields here. Now, if I go to create a new engagement, I now have a very basic option in addition to the basic kitchen and the ballpark. This is how we define different types of projects that we might want to work on, different types of engagements. So let's go ahead and let's update this very basic template a bit. So we're going through each of these types, and you can see on the right-hand side there, we're going to have a preview of what these types are. So I'm going to go ahead and select a text field. The name is not important, it never gets displayed. It will be used later, though, if we try and work with these fields within document templates. Document templates are a later presentation down the road. So for purpose of this template, we will go something as simple as address, right? We're going to have address, probably need 3 lines for that address. So now when I go ahead and make those changes, what you'll see is we have a new text field over here, and I can try it out. So if I go ahead and type in different information, it will allow me to collect that information. So that's the address field. And when you see 3 lines, it'll allow you up to 3 lines before it starts scrolling. Next thing we can do is a chip field. And this, we could do something like type of project, right? This could be a single select or a multi-select. Either one works. Again, the key is just worried about the back end. The real thing here is the value. So this could be a complete rip and replace, or it could be just a layout and configuration change. So now if you look over here, if I hit save, you'll see we now have this updated over here. So we can do complete rip and replace, layout configuration change, and you can see we can only choose one of them at a time. You can see now we also have 3 lines on the address if we need it. And then finally we have a slider field. Slider field is there. We're going to go with square footage. It's going to start right around 100. We're going to go to around 500. And we can choose to use compact numbers. And what that means is, and we can choose to snap the whole numbers as well. We're going to do that. The default value here obviously has to be between the min and the max. So for this, we're going to default to 200. And what snap to whole numbers does is make sure it's a whole number. We'll use compact numbers. It won't affect between 1 and 500, but basically it won't show 1 with 6 zeros. It will show 1 and the M for million. So if I go ahead and hit save on this guy, you'll see we now have the square footage. It goes between 1 and 500. And if we go ahead and move it, it's going to snap us into whole numbers there. So those are the few basic field options. And now you see we hit save a few times. We have this very basic template set up, right? And we can test it out and we're good to go. Now, if we want to create an engagement with this very basic template, we're gonna go ahead, come in here, hit the very basic template, and you'll see that these options down here are now selectable. We have an address field. We have square footage. We have whatever we might have. So now the other thing that we can do is we come through and decide, oh, there's something we missed. We need to add more. We can come back in, very basic template here, under engagement templates. We can go ahead, add in a text field. Let's say that text field is project budget amount. And the idea here, we're only going to need one line for this, but it's really important that we think through what we want to do. Project budget amount, it could be a slider. That would make sense. But if we want to be able to take notes or add things into it, we might want to consider making that a text field. So we could say something like between $1,000 and $5,000, right? So this gives us the ability to collect information outside of just a straight field. If we wanted to maybe collect a budget minimum, budget maximum, we could always remove this field, come up here, choose a slider, add a slider, and then we can set this up to be min, budget minimum, and then max, budget maximum. So this would give us the idea of we have a minimum and a maximum that we can choose between. Minimum, obviously, you're not going to do a project for less than, let's say, $1,000. We'll default to 1,000, and we're not going to, or we'll default to 1,000. Max will be, 250,000. We'll default to 1,000 to let people go from there, and we'll definitely snap the whole numbers and use whole compact numbers from there. Same thing down here. We'll say the min is $1,000. Max is 250,000. Default is 1,000. And again, we'll snap the whole number. So when we go ahead and hit save, you'll see this preview gets updated over here. So when I'm looking at the preview, what I see is see this say rather than 1000, it says 1K, right? So if we're coming in here, we'll go 130K is the budget minimum. Go something to 180K is the budget maximum. And what this allows us to do, that's the snap to whole numbers. You see, if we remove the snap to whole numbers for the minimum, we go and hit save. Sorry, that's the compact numbers. If we go ahead and remove that, you can now see we have this big 129,719, and then we have weird fractions going on here. So a lot of times we're going to want to snap the whole numbers, and we're going to want to use the compact numbers. So we hit save there, and now this very basic template's been updated. So if I go back into my project that I just created, the new project, and I look at it, I'm using this very basic template. Now we have additional information here. So we can choose a budget minimum and a budget maximum. And this will allow us to get a feel for what this project is. And you'll see as these fields get updated, they're saved on the back end, and you can see this was saved just now, so you know the record's up to date.